So, as we discussed, several criteria must be met in a span of about 14 days for your region of the country to begin Phase 1 of getting back to life as we once knew it.
And on top of that, state leaders also need to have a way to efficiently screen, test, and track for cases of COVID-19. Be able to protect healthcare workers with personal protective equipment, as well as equipment for patient care if there was another surge impacting hospitals and intensive care units. Have specific plans in place to continue protecting special populations, from healthcare workers to people using mass transit to people in senior care facilities. And while most citizens are now aware of best practice protocols of social distancing and face coverings, state leaders must also carefully monitor conditions to be ready to immediately respond to any new outbreaks by restarting a phase or returning to an earlier phase, depending on the severity of any new outbreak.
And would you happen to have a handy list of those best practice protocols you just mentioned?
I thought you'd never ask. Ta-da!
Hooray!
And it's important throughout each phase that we continue to practice these good hygiene habits, which you can review here. And if you have any questions about them, you can always get the latest recommendations on the CDC website, which has become my new best friend.
I love you, cdc.gov. Stop being weird.
Okay then, instead, let's suppose for 14 days, COVID-19 metrics are trending downward, and you're informed by state or local authorities that your region will be entering Phase 1. Hey, it's your phase, Juan.
Okay, just what does Phase 1 really mean? Let's talk about it from 3 perspectives. First, for individuals, it means things are much the same as they have been. If you have to travel, continue to isolate afterwards, according to CDC guidelines. Avoid large group gatherings of 10 or more.
So you know that 50-year reunion tour of your favorite band? This may not be the year to go.
And when in public, continue to maximize social distance from others. So if you or anyone you live with is considered part of our vulnerable population, realize that going back to work or other environments without strictly observing social distancing and other protocols may result in carrying the virus back home. Continue to take precautions to isolate from vulnerable residents in your shared living spaces.
Now, Phase 1 for employers means that on top of minimizing non-essential travel and continuing telework where possible, you should consider creating a way for people to return to work in phases. Either significantly restrict or completely close common areas like lunchrooms and break rooms where people tend to gather. And consider special accommodations for personnel that are members of a vulnerable population, whether older or those with serious underlying medical conditions.
Finally, there are specific types of employers that will require additional considerations throughout Phase 1, like schools and organized youth activities which should remain closed. Visits to senior living facilities and hospitals should be prohibited. Bars should remain closed, but some larger venues like dining restaurants, movie theaters, churches, gyms, and even some sporting events may restart operations under strictly observed distancing and sanitation protocols. Also, elective surgeries and doctor office visits can resume as needed on an outpatient basis with carefully observed healthcare standards in place.
Again, these are Phase 1 guidelines. Consult your state and local authorities to confirm exactly what is scheduled to reopen and the time frames within your region. If there are local exceptions to some of these, please support your local authorities. They're trying to protect each of us while recreating our new normal. Next on your journey, we'll explore Phase 2.
Woohoo for Phase 2!
But be patient.
I have been patient.
Yeah, me too.
Sure you have, Uncle Ben. Sure you have.
We only get there if metrics during Phase 1 continue to trend downward. That's why it's so important to stay safe, stay smart, and stay socially responsible.